Hey, good morning, you guys. You're here on my patio, and I'm sitting here and I'm having this moment where I'm feeling into my clients. I'm feeling into what's going on right now, and not that I normally talk like this, but it's about the fact that I just want to be real with you about this whole conversation around. Do you know what it feels like when you know what you're supposed to be doing, but yet at the same time you're so busy in your life that you don't even have the time to focus on the things that you know you're supposed to be focused on? If you know what I'm talking about right now, don't just say good morning, say yes, that's exactly where I'm at right now. Where it's like, no matter what, like every day feels like a rat race, but it's like gosh, it's like this frick, it's like this frustrating feeling of knowing what you need to do, or even knowing what you should do, like focusing on one thing. Like yesterday I was talking about, I have a client right now trying to focus on her business and her relationship, her guy's business, to help him out. And it's like I know what that's like. I had a moment in my life where my husband was building a business, and it was like I could have jumped in and helped him, but at the end of the day, if I would have done that, then Heartcore wouldn't have gotten the same traction that it needed to be. In other words, I didn't have the bandwidth to be able to grow two things at the same time. I just finished leading a 2-day event in San Jose, and I heard constantly people were saying things to me like I've got two things that I can focus on. There's two areas of my business, and I'm like, stop doing that. I've seen my clients literally do things where they're thinking about two programs, two products, two services, and depending on who they're speaking to, they will determine on what product they're going to push or what product they're going to offer to somebody. And here's what I got to say to you: somebody makes a decision to work with you before you ever make an offer. It's in your marketing. But if you can't spend time doing your marketing, you can't spend time even giving, like on lives like this on a regular basis, to be able to help people, then you're going to keep feeling like you're doing this. You're like working. But at the end of the day, you can't settle down and trust yourself to focus on the one thing that's going to help you build out your business. I teach our clients how to build targeted traffic sources. It's where I start. I don't actually start with your product or your niche or even like what you're going to sell or how you're going to sell it. I actually focus with your traffic first, because if you control your traffic, then you're in a position where you can learn with your traffic on what to offer, how to offer it, like all the things like doing a website, hiring team, the vision that you have to do huge events or whatever that looks like for you. It's like that's a build out. In order to build those things out, nothing happens without controlling your traffic. I see people follow me and they're like, I know I need to build a targeted email list, and I've got a free ebook on my website that nobody's going to, right? And it's like, okay, but you're so busy writing blogs, but there's no traffic coming to your website, or you're so busy, even raising kids. It's like, how do you raise kids and run a business and grow a business? I'm telling you, so many people are focusing on the wrong thing at the wrong time. And even if you're focusing on the right thing at the right time, you run into these moments where you're like, holy effing, it didn't bleep out. I just didn't want to say that word because I've seen so many people that are actually following me that are kids now. And it's like, holy cow, you guys, like, it's insane to be running through your life and you can't even connect with your life. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even connect with your life because you're so busy. Yesterday, we got back in from San Jose, and my son was out of school because we got back late in the afternoon, and he was wanting my attention. And I'm like on the phone with Experian, the credit bureau. And I'm on the phone with Experian, and I'm trying to get a fraud alert lifted off my account that I put on years ago to protect myself. And like the guy on the other end of the phone is like, you've all had this, right? Like, have you had a frustrating moment where you've called into a company like Experian or a mortgage company or something like that, where they keep you online forever? I'm on the phone online with this guy who can barely speak English for a long period of time, and he's basically asking me credit questions. Like, what was the last loan you had in your name? Or what's your minimum balance on a credit card? I'm like, I don't have minimum balances on a credit card. I pay my credit cards off every single month. I mean, I have huge credit cards and I pay them off every single month. So I said, I don't have a minimum balance. I can tell you what I paid on this credit card or this credit card. But okay, what would you pay? And I tell him, And they go, like 5 minutes later, talking around in circles on the same conversation. The guy says to me, well, tell me a minimum balance on your credit card. I'm like, listen, buddy, like, listen. And it's like that frustrating moment where you're not proud of yourself. Do you know that moment, you guys, where you're not proud of yourself? You're like, this is not my finest moment of a human being. All I want to do is reach through the phone and like strangle this person, because it's like I'm telling them the answers and they're not listening. Long story short, after 20 minutes on the phone, he still did not lift my fraud alert, and he told me to send in a letter with all of these details to be able to take the fraud alert off my account. And I'm sitting there going, I've got, you guys, mortgages right now are super cheap. It's like a very, 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 it's cheap money right now to refinance your house. So I'm like, I'm being a smart human, a smart mommy, a smart businesswoman. And I'm like, refinance my house, so that it would drop my payments like almost $1,000 a month. And I'm like, okay, like, but I can't get it done. And at the same time, I don't have time to call all the credit unions, because I'm focusing on the fact that I've been away almost for 2 weeks between Hawaii and San Jose. I've been away, and I've got a million things to handle inside my company. My son is like trying to get my attention while I'm with Experian, and then he gets frustrated and goes, I'm going to run away. And he walks outside, and I looked at my phone, and I said to the Experian dude, I said, you know what? I gotta go. I can't talk to you right now. Bye. Thanks for your help. And I hung up, and I went and sat on my front yard with my son, holding him, saying, I'm so sorry. Mommy was just, frustrated with Experian and trying to get that done. And I was trying to have him be quiet while I was doing that. And all he wanted to do was talk to me about like his toys. And so I feel with you when you're in this pattern of like, you're trying to get to the next level, but at the end of the day, it's like you can't even connect with your life because you're so extraordinarily busy. And I also understand the feeling of waking up and being up till 2:00 in the morning, because if you're an entrepreneur and you're watching this, there are times and seasons in your life like when you're like bouncing up against that wall. And all I got to tell you is welcome to the world of up leveling. Like if you that's my dog. Can you hear that? It's like, and there was a time that used to frustrate the heck out of me. You know what I mean? Where I'd hear something like that and I'd be like, this live isn't perfect. It's like, you just got to let go of this stuff. You got to, like, when you start to feel yourself pushing up against it, it's because you're up leveling to this next level. But I will tell you that you can't run through life being disconnected with what you're experiencing in life. You can't run through life like not focusing on things that you need to focus on, like building out your traffic and controlling your traffic. Like please don't start a website when you don't have any traffic. And please don't go spend Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube ads when you don't have, a targeted email list that you can at least send out some emails and have a good consistent like $15,000 or $20,000 a month coming in. Don't play that game. I mean, there's a lot of gurus out there that their job is to enroll you in the thing that they've mastered. And I'm going to tell you, I've had to master multiple things in the growth process of growing a business, and you will too, but you need to make sure that your cash flow is working. You need to make sure that you have an ability to control your traffic so that you can learn what your messaging is. So I'm going to go over here so my dog doesn't like totally... Here, let's go this way so my dog doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to come over here with you. So, don't focus on those things, because so many people I know, they're in this crazy energy because they're focusing on so many things that are not the right things to focus on. Then I see people hit like a good stride in their business, and I see this all the time. Their leadership starts to catch up with them, and they start to implode because they hit this time crunch again. So here's the deal. The time crunches are never going to go away. They're never going to go away. So you have to find a way to figure out what do you have to do in those moments so that they don't take you out. How do you get a better night's sleep? How do you focus on the right things? How do you get connected with your business? Well, first and foremost, thank God for my husband, because my husband sits next to me every time I hit a moment like that and says to me, Shanda, like, things always work out for you. Shanda, I trust you. Shanda, you're like, your clients trust you. Shanda, you're one of the strongest women I know. Shanda, like, and he sits there and pours into me. And every time he does it, this part of me wakes up where I get reminded about who I am. And here's why I'm sharing this with you today. Remember who you are. You wouldn't be having this pressure right now if there wasn't a next level evolution that you're walking into right now. You don't, you don't feel stretched when everything's just running simple smooth, and you just did a sales cycle and it worked, and or you just did anything that worked. When you do anything that works in your life, you get this release of energy, and that release of energy makes you feel connected for right now. But the challenge is that unless it's on stable ground, like unless you know how to recreate it over and over and over again, what happens is that level of stress starts to come back into your life. So I just want to welcome you to taking a deep breath. I want to welcome you to the breath in your life. Don't forget to breathe in your life, and to realize that so much is under your control, and so much is also a supernatural growth that's about to happen. And in order for the supernatural growth to happen, you have to be able to let go a little bit and drive the part that you know works. So for instance, sometimes people will come to me and they'll be like, I'll tell them how to do something, and then they'll go back and they'll talk to their virtual assistant, who I love virtual assistants, but the challenge is the virtual assistant isn't getting coached by me, and they're giving their advice on what to do inside a registration page, or what to do inside, your marketing. And it's like, remember this, you guys, don't take marketing advice from somebody who's not a millionaire. Don't do it. Okay. Just don't do it. Okay. Because what it takes to make 100,000 or 500,000 or $1 million, the person who's made $1 million or multiple millions, hopefully, they understand how to short circuit that because they've practiced it so many times and they're standing on stable ground. I want you to stand on stable ground, which means that you got to stop taking bad advice. You got to stop. My morning, I'm like, really? You got to stop taking advice from people who have just made it. I want you to stop focusing on survival, and I want to take you into thriving. And in order to do that, you can't back down when you're in one of these moments where you feel like you're spinning. Is anybody in one of those moments right now where you feel like you're spinning? Just go ahead and type it down in the comment section. Do you feel like you're spinning? And if so, where are you spinning right now? Where's the area that is frustrating you the most? Chances are I can go in the comments thread and I can actually start coaching you on that so you can get to the other side. But at the same time, that's exactly the type of stuff that I cover at the Zone event. The Zone event's coming up, and we sell out every year. We're about to do we're about to kick off a cool contest inside of our clients. And when that happens over, a few weeks time, we sell out of tickets, we sell out of rooms. It's then everything starts to skyrocket up. So if you're interested in coming to the Zone event, go watch the video, because I'm not going to talk about the details here because I want to stay on Coffee with Shanda, but go to thezoneevent.com, and there's a video on the top, and watch the video because I talk about the details about what the Zone event is and why you should come. But if there's any event in this entire planet that you should go to really stop chasing a guru. I don't consider myself a guru. I'm a businesswoman who has figured out how to focus on one thing at a time, so that I've been able to manage my stress levels and be able to explode a company that not only has given me peace of mind, but when I've hit these moments that are crazy town, these moments that most people start to pull back in and say things like, well, basically it's if you pull back and fit into your limitations, then what you're going to do is you're going to strengthen. You're actually going to strengthen your limitations, and you're going to find yourself in a pattern. Have you ever found yourself in a pattern? It's you make a certain amount of money, and then what happens is, or you make a little bit more, and what happens is you find yourself back in the cycle where you're at that same amount of money in your bank account. Have you experienced that before? Or you're running along and everything's working in your fitness, and then all of a sudden you're up again 5-10 pounds, right? Or everything's running smooth in your business, and then there's a major breakdown. It sets you back, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I was finally getting ahead, and then I just got a big tax bill, and you feel like you're back at square one. I remember the first time that I started getting big tax bills. I actually felt discouraged to grow my business because I was I finally made some money, and now I have to pay all this taxes. I couldn't actually see how to get ahead in that game. Okay, if I make more money, I'm going to pay more taxes. How do I actually get ahead in this game? It didn't make any sense to me how I could actually become financially free in the tax game. So know that I have walked these roads before you, and I've actually coached hundreds of people, thousands of people actually every year, not just in my entire career, but every year I coach thousands of people how to actually cross these bridges, how to cross these bridges. And I'm going to tell you that when you feel that hard press, I don't want you to back down to that. I want you to go on my Hardcore Business page and watch more Coffees with Shanda from the past. Get inside my brain so that you can coach yourself in a way that you can walk past those different levels of compression points. It's literally the other night when I was having a compression point moment, I said to Ash, I was like, well, you know what? If I can't stand the heat, I should get out of the kitchen. And he started to laugh at me. He goes, that's right. And then I said, and this is the way that I talk to myself. I'm like, and at the end of the day, Scripture says that in those hard moments, God is molding me. So I need to just remember I'm being molded into the next beautiful version of me as I'm up-leveling, as I'm donating more money, as I'm helping more people, as I'm hiring more executive coaches. By the way, we're in the process of bringing on some extraordinary coaches into Hardcore that have built these amazing e-commerce sites and, companies in multiple different countries. And these are the coaches that we're attracting. They're not just, coaches that are working here to make money. They're coaches that are actually working on creating your legacy, which again is what we're doing at the Zone event. So I want you to strongly consider not missing the event this year. If you want, we 4X the company this year. We're going to 4X it again next year. We want to show you how to do that. If you want to have that quantum leap, that speed jump, where, by the way, when you have that speed jump, you have to be able to manage the compression points, because what happens in the quantum growth is that you have these moments where you're like, whoa, it's growing a little bit too fast. It's too much. It's growing too fast. But I'd rather you have that experience than sitting back going, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I want you to be in the conversation of it's growing too fast, or there's not enough time. I want you to be in that conversation, because that means that there's a quantum leap happening in front of you. So please be smart. Because when you're in these compression point moments, I'm going to tell you, this is why having a coach is really powerful. When you're in these compression point moments, if you back down and take a back seat to what you know you're capable of, you're going to put yourself in a position where your business starts going backwards, because you're making decisions to maintain. You're making decisions to pull back into what you're capable of right now. And when you start to do that, what happens is your business starts to go the other way. I know it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't make any sense. I know it's really easy to think that you can maintain a company. If you're understanding what I'm saying right now, let me know that you're in that spot right now, so that we can coach you. Because at the end of the day, if you start making decisions, if you know you're capable of this, but you don't think you can handle that jump to the next level again, if you don't think that, then you're going to make decisions to maintain. And if you do that, then what's happening is you will actually go backwards, and you can feel it. You can feel when you start to lose traction in your business. You don't feel as passionate about it. You're in a position where people aren't calling you for advice at the same level, other than your clients. Your friends aren't imploding in the door to get advice on you. It's because you're not in a forward growth, you're in a decline. And I'm going to tell you, the biggest company, Bear Stearns, back in the day, some of these huge companies, they go away like this because they take their eye off the growth mode. So the growth mode means some pain, but that pain doesn't have to hurt at a physical level. It actually can be solved by talking to your coach. It can be solved by talking to friends who are growing. I mean, there's nothing better than hanging out with a group of people who are skyrocketing up. There's nothing worse than hanging out with a group of people that are just holding on. Don't just hold on in your business. Don't just hold on in your life. Don't allow that to happen. Because if you do that, I'm going to tell you, what you do today will show up in your bank account in 3 months from now. So if you don't want 3 months from now to be a nasty place, or you're in a nasty place now, you got to change the way you're operating right now. And you got to look at that pressure point moment that's going to push you, that's going to compress time, that's going to, it's typically the jump you're supposed to do, but you don't have time to put the time into making that happen, because you're distracted focusing on things that probably are not your best use of time. And so I'll end on this piece. And I started on this. There was a moment, I think it was last year or the year before where I really wanted to jump into my husband's company, and I wanted to, and I could see how I could do it. But the truth is that I'm not like building out his funnels and testing his funnels is not in my wheel of expertise, right? So it would have me actually like shift gears and look at it. And I'm not saying I'll never do it, but what we've just done is we're in the process of bringing on an e-commerce coach. And when we do that, then, you know, having that e-commerce coach help us on building that out, right? Because that's in their wheelhouse. They know how to do that. They've done it a million times. If I was to do it, then what happens is I'm trying to fit a circle into a square. Is that the right word to say it? Or a square peg into a round hole. And what happens is that my company starts to go under, and so does his. And so as much as I loved him, as much as I wanted to help him, as much as we had great conversations, I gave him the best coaching I can, the same coaching he gives me, which is looking at me and believing in me so that I can become resourceful to create the result that I want. If I tried to grow his company and my company at the same time, we would have went under. And then who would have been able to help who? I wouldn't be able to help him do the things he's doing today if it wasn't for the fact that I did that. I stayed focused on what it is that I was growing, and I helped him in the ways that I could, but I didn't go and jump into his business to run it. I used to do this when I started my coaching company. When I started my coaching company, if you came to me and asked for coaching advice, I would create your company for you out of my vision. What I found was that my clients wouldn't be very successful because they'd hit their walls and they wouldn't climb them. To be a successful entrepreneur, remember, it's in these pressure cooking moments that you get molded to be the entrepreneur that you want. So I never wanted to run my husband's company. That wasn't my vision. Right? It was a distraction for me to do that. So I didn't want to run my husband's company. So if I would have went and did that, it wasn't in my vision. If I would have went and did that, everybody would have suffered, and we would have been at a really probably critical place inside of our company if I would have went and done that. Not to mention the fact that I might have been resentful when both companies started moving in the wrong direction. So I just stop and say, just like my husband, I looked at him and I'm like, baby, you got to walk through these walls just like I walked through them in my company, because I remember coaching my clients and creating their companies for them. And the minute that I wasn't right next to them, like talking to them daily, enrolling them, re-enrolling them in their commitments, and doing the pieces that my clients were not good at. So I was basically running their companies. The minute I wasn't right there, they would give up on their companies or they would close them or whatever. So I realized really quickly that you can't help somebody by taking it over and doing it for them. You can't. And so then that's the same advice you have to give yourself. You can't expect somebody to step in your business and take it over and pull it to the finish line. You have to. I have given my power over to far too many agencies and companies to be able to like take my business to the finish line, like in YouTube ads or Facebook ads or whatever. And I've allowed that to happen far too many times. And they were always the hardest moments in my business because I was expecting somebody else to step in and take it to the finish line. You have to, and you cannot skate this. You have to get strong in these moments. These are the moments that the quantum leaps happen. They don't happen because you put A plus B equals, D, and then gives you $100 million win. It doesn't happen like that. It's in these hard moments that we start to create the resilience to be able to create the results. So remember this. Don't take over somebody else's business. Don't take over somebody else's weight loss. Don't take it over for someone else. Just like our children, don't take over for our children. Because when we do these things, what happens is we become the visionary and the controller in somebody else's vision, and they never get strong enough to be able to take it to the finish line, which means that is a life sentence for you. The flip side is stop sitting back and waiting for somebody to step into your business and take it to the finish line for you. Start to realize, you guys, that we are molded in these hard moments. We're molded. So don't back down to them, because if you do, then you are actually agreeing to a negative backwards movement in your business. You're actually agreeing to that. And so in 3 months from now, you will be in a massive cash crunch, or you'll be in a massive, heartbreak moment where you have so much work to do that you just feel like, I can't get to the other side of this. I know what I have to focus on, but I can't actually focus on it. So I just want to open this up because right now I have 4 clients that I'm watching going through some level of these types of conversations, and I'm coaching them. So I thought I might as well coach you as well. Last piece, I'm going to go back through the comment section. So please tell me about your business. Obviously share this live. If you're still on this live, share this live, because that means that it's made a difference for you, make a difference for other people. And then for God's sakes, go get your ticket for the Zone event. It's September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Palm Springs. The most amazing, conscious, generous entrepreneurs will be there. A huge portion of our existing clients actually go there. And that's where I can show you, how do you cash flow? I'm a queen in cash flow. How do you cash flow? How do you actually take off proper time? And at the same time, if you want to 4X, how do you mentally get through those moments so that you can 4X your company? I mean, just take your income that you're going to make this year, times it by 4. If you want that, go get a ticket at the Zone event. Go get your ticket, because we'll sell out. It always happens every year, and we sell out early. So if, in the description area, I actually dropped a link for the Zone event, but otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to go back today, and I'm going to coach the comment thread. So please, I'm here to serve. I do 2 free lives a day to be able to help people, grow your businesses. Very rare will you ever hear me say, go to this sales page, or go to this, or go to that. But the Zone event is one that you have to go to. You have to go to this, thezoneevent.com. All right, you guys, talk to you soon. I'll be on the comments thread today. God bless. Zachy, I hear you.